All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society's live talk show. This is episode number 32. And as always, tonight's music is by the Midnight Syndicate, guys. So definitely go give them a look on YouTube and Spotify. Check out midnightsyndicate.com, and they have a lot of scary music on there. If you guys are into that type of music, definitely check out the Midnight Syndicate, and we thank them for allowing us to use their music again. But welcome, guys, to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society talk show. You can check our website out at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. You can send us an email at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. If you think you've got a location out there that's haunted or you have some type of paranormal activity going on, definitely send us an email there or get a hold of us on our Facebook page, and we'll try to answer you as soon as possible. We've been extremely busy lately, which I'm going to be talking about here on the show, but definitely send us an email or get a hold of us by our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is Facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters if you're not watching on there, because we do dual stream to YouTube also, which is YouTube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters if you want to check us out on there. Sometimes it's better quality on the YouTube channel than it is the Facebook. And we will try to answer all your questions on both platforms. So wherever you're watching for, definitely send us questions all throughout the show tonight. But we're going to kind of update you tonight on what's been going on here lately with us. You can check out our Instagram page at Instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. And I think that's it. May have a co-host with me tonight. Not sure yet. Ben Irvin might be joining me here later. May have him on here right now, actually. So I'm going to pop Ben in. I think I see him down here in the little queue box. So let's get Ben Irvin up here. Looks like he's still loading up there, guys. I don't see Ben. He's out there hanging around somewhere in Cyberland there. I don't know what's going on with his camera, but maybe I'll take him back out so I can find him. But anyway, we got Ben Irvin maybe here, guys, with me tonight to co-host. But good to see all you guys back, and apologize for the little break we had. We've had a lot going on, so I wanted to update you guys on what we have been doing, our investigations that we've been doing, and why we haven't been going live as much, just because, we've been so busy. We've been going live, pretty late, or been doing our investigations really late at night. So we haven't done a lot of live feeds. We don't want to wake you guys up with that notification going off at like 2 a.m, make everybody mad. But reading your comments now, been a while. We'll start to catch older videos to get my fix, Deb said. Yeah, we're going to try to fix that problem soon, Deb. Try to get Ben at it here. Ben, if you can hear me out there, I'm not sure what's going on. He's having some technical difficulties, but anyway, guys, thanks for joining in. Everybody joining back into the show. I know we missed like a few Monday nights. I've been extremely busy. Seems like every Monday night, including today, we've had something go on, or I've had something go on where I can't make it back in time to do the show. I got called out to a brush fire last Monday and didn't get here in time. Today I had an issue I had to deal with. I got called to. So that's why I'm running a little late tonight, but thought heck with it. I might as well do the show anyway. But we want to talk about, we're going to start way back. We investigated the Toledo American Legion. We still have not talked about that. It's been that long ago. That was our last live feed that we done, our last live investigation that you guys seen. We have done several investigations since then. A lot of our investigations we don't go live on just because of the location, and the places we go to. Sometimes we don't have signal to locations we go to. But going back to the last live that you guys seen us do, the Toledo investigation, we actually found some pretty good stuff there. It was pretty interesting. If you guys watch that investigation, I'm going to kind of recap a little of that. we get there, we set everything up. We started hearing a lot of strange like noises that we couldn't explain. A couple like bangs from the bathroom area and the basically the stall area in the bathroom. We were hearing weird noises coming from. I know that sounds funny, the bathroom stall area, but I promise there was nobody in there, no living person. But these strange noises started coming from the bathroom stall, like knocks and pounding, like in that area. So and we specifically, it seemed like when we would say a couple names that were associated with the American Legion there, some people that had passed away, we were getting responses. And it was pretty crazy. It was almost upon demand. When I would, say one name or another, we would get, some responses there at the Legion. So interesting place. I would say they definitely got some weird, maybe unusual activity going on there. And we're definitely going to go back sometime soon to investigate that location again for a follow-up investigation. So I'm glad you guys, thanks for watching that. If you guys were out there, watching that investigation, but it was pretty interesting. I mean, we had fun, and we'll definitely probably be back there. Reading your comments, says Christina said Toledo is my home area. I watched all the lives. Good deal. Thank you guys for watching that. But you guys out there, I always like to know too, when you're out there watching our show or our live feeds, just kind of give me where you guys all from, kind of give me a heads up, put in the chat box there. I want to know where everybody's from tonight, where you guys watching from, and everything. Yeah, Ben's messaging me. Sorry, guys. He's trying to get on here to co-host with me. But trying to get him on here. Apologize. But I want to talk about some of the other investigations you guys haven't seen us do. We've been investigating a lot of places. Says Carrie's from Vandalia. That's cool. We have a lot of people watching from all over. Looks like we got some Toledo people here, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, we've been doing investigations all over, a lot of cemetery investigations lately, and we haven't been going live because like a lot of them, we leave pretty late in the evening. We're leaving, at like 10:30, 11, and we get to these places around midnight, doing an investigation till like 4, and we don't want your notification, dinging in the middle of the night with us doing a live feed. I mean, maybe you guys, maybe we should. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to watch us at like that time of the night, but we really don't want to wake people up. Some of them have been through the week even. We've done a couple private residences. We've done some cemeteries. We've done several locations. But one of the locations I want to talk about is a cemetery we investigated. And that location was in Wabash County, and it was called Ridge Cemetery. Now, we originally got tipped off about this cemetery from an individual that went on one of our haunted tours at Pine Lawn Manor. She pulled me aside and said, hey, there's a haunted cemetery in Wabash County where some strange things have been going on. It's called Ridge Cemetery. Now, do not get this cemetery confused with Ridge Cemetery at Tower Hill. This is not Williamsburg Hill we're talking about, because that is also called Ridge Cemetery at Williamsburg Hill. We're not talking about that one. This is a different Ridge Cemetery. Now, this is in Wabash County, and we started investigating that because they had reports of seeing a girl there and a guy. And the story is, we found records backing this up in the cemetery records, and in some of the even Find a Grave, I think, mentioned it. But if you go and you look up the cemetery, there's a story of a local woman in the area was raped by this guy. And basically they formed a posse, found the guy who raped the girl, and they took him out to Ridge Cemetery, and they hung him in a tree, like a big oak tree right on the edge of the cemetery. Now, we did locate an oak tree near the edge of the cemetery. Now, it wasn't big, it doesn't remind you of like a hanging tree like we investigated at Charlottesville. There's the big hanging tree near Charlottesville Cemetery, but, that looks like somebody could have got hung from it. This one is like a smaller tree, is the only oak tree we found near the edge of the cemetery, which we assume, was this hanging tree. So we get there, this is obviously after our Toledo investigation. We've done this between now and then, guys. So we go there and we started doing some ITC sessions, instrumental transcommunication, to try to make intelligent contact with any form of being or, ghost or spirit that might be still present in the cemetery area. And I'm asking questions, regarding the incident that happened. I said, did you rape this girl? Were you hung here by this tree? Are we near the area? And we immediately started making contact with something intelligent in Ridge Cemetery. Now, this is in Wabash County, Illinois. And the one of the things that came across intelligently, just bang, answered my question, was rape. We got rape come across the ghost box a couple times, extremely clear, very clear response to my question I asked, did you rape her, all this, and it said rape. Then immediately afterwards, we picked up a male voice saying hung, or I was hung. Very clear response, intelligent response and answer to my question, right near where the tree area was at there in the cemetery. So that's pretty cool. We got some pretty good evidence there. A lot of just a weird feeling at the cemetery. We didn't see or hear a lot physically at the cemetery, like we do in places like Pylon and other locations. But of course, Pylon's a 1 in a million thing. And I'm going to give you guys an update on Pylon because we have investigated it several times also since we've been on live with our live investigations. So I've definitely got a Pylon Manor update for you guys. And you're probably going to want to hear this. But trying to read your comments here. It says, she said that I was reading Lori's comment. And Doy, have you been to Pine Yep, we have. Karen says she's from Plano. So glad you're alive tonight. It's been way too long. I know, Paula. Sorry, guys. We're trying to get back into getting the lives going. We've just been extremely busy with stuff. So we've been investigating for sure. We just haven't been posting a lot of it. But anyway, the Ridge Cemetery, to get back to that, we started, I had something really weird happen in Ridge Cemetery there in Wabash County. I was in the back part of the cemetery where near this tree was at, and it felt like I got stung on the leg. It hurt bad. I was burning, stinging. Felt like something stung me on the back of my leg. Okay, looks like I got Ben Irvin here with me now. Let me throw him in here, guys. All right, co-hosting with me tonight is Ben Irvin. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
So, all right. Yeah, we got Ben Irvin, one of my longtime team members, with us here tonight to help me co-host. So, yeah, anyway, we were at Ridge Cemetery, and Ben wasn't with me on this one, but it's been a little while since he's went. I think you went to Toledo last, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last one you were at. You look thrilled to be here tonight, Ben.
I got off work. I'm tired.
You just got off work?
Yeah, I just got home like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Gonna say it looks like you're ready to go to bed.
I am.
But anyway, yeah, we were here at the Ridge Cemetery. I got stung by what felt like it was a bee, man. And like, this is funny. I couldn't see it, so I go around the back side of the vehicle and I have Courtney pull my pants down. This sounds really bad. Show's getting X-rated tonight, guys. But I pulled my pants down, and Courtney's checking to see if I get stung by this or got stung, because my legs hurting extremely bad. I lost Ben again. I don't know what's going on with that. But nothing was there, guys. There was no like sting marks, on my leg. There was like nothing there. My leg looked fine. Didn't look like there was a bite, a sting, anything. I got Ben back. I don't know what's up. The ghosts don't want you to be here tonight, Ben.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But anyway, there was nothing there, no sting marks, nothing. And this is the weird thing, guys. I did not know anything about this. I contacted the girl that originally told me about Ridge Cemetery and the hanging that had taken place there. And, there was supposedly paranormal activity, going on in and around that cemetery. And she said, well, that's weird because the hanging tree or the tree right next there used to be a bee tree, and there used to be bees in that tree, and they removed them. I guess the cemetery board or something possibly removed the bees from the tree, but I had no idea, there used to be bees there, but I didn't see anything sting me, which is what was weird. And there was no bees present. I didn't hear anything, see anything. So I don't know, like if I got a residual bee sting or if it was some type of weird deal, kind of connecting me with the tree where the guy was hung, because there used to be bees in there, they said. I mean, what's that?
It could be ghost bees.
Ghost bees.
Yeah.
Hey, we get marbles and coins thrown at us at Pine Lot. I'll believe anything now. I mean, ghost bees, leprechauns, I mean, you name it. But I didn't used to believe in anything until Pine Lawn. But that's kind of changed my mind about a lot of things. But I have no idea. But I may have got stung by a ghost bee, guys. I don't know what the heck happened there. But anyway, that's Ridge Cemetery. I don't really know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. We got some, communication, intelligent communication on the ghost box there. So it's definitely a place we may check out in the future. Again, if we get over that way, interesting little spot. Then we investigated a place on the way back called Lancaster Cemetery near Lancaster, Illinois, and picked up, not a whole lot there. We didn't get a whole lot at the cemetery there in Lancaster. We also investigated a place called Cunningham Cemetery since then. We went up to St. Omar Cemetery and investigated it. We go there quite often, actually, up to Airtight Bridge near Charleston. We always hit St. Omar Cemetery and Airtight Bridge. While we were at Airtight Bridge doing an investigation, we kind of ran into a local individual there, and he tipped us off on another haunted place. And that's what's cool when we're out, guys, because we'll meet all these other people that come along in the middle of the night and think we're weirdos, and we meet a lot of weirdos too.
Yeah.
So it's a big weirdo group. It's a big weirdo reunion out there at night, I guess, with us and the people we meet. But no, this guy was pretty cool. We met him, and he was telling us about this like house that was nearby, about half a mile down the road, that we didn't know about. It was supposedly a house that was haunted. There's old buses and stuff all around this place. So we went and checked it out. Didn't find a whole lot, but it was creepy as heck. A weird, creepy feeling back there. But that's how we find a lot of locations. We run into local people at night at some of these places we investigate, and they tell us, about places on down the road that we've never heard of, because up in the Airtight area, we're a little ways away from home in the Coles County area up there, so we don't know all the back roads like some of the locals do there. So it's neat to learn, all the places that these people know about. And that's how we come up on a lot of the places we find, and explore them and see if they have paranormal activity. But anyway, we left Airtight, went to St. Omar Cemetery. And then Kelsey and Jake Greentree went with us, two of our new team members. They were present on those two investigations there at Airtight and the St. Omar Cemetery. But the St. Omar Cemetery was pretty neat that night. I mean, we heard some strange noises. Kelsey Greentree, she thought she seen an apparition at St. Omar. She thought it went like up our area into the woods. She thought she'd seen something walking up there, and that was the first time she said she'd seen anything that clear. So that was pretty cool. I kind of missed that one. I didn't get to see that, but she was kind of excited to see it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Lisa's glad to hear you guys are back. Yeah, we're always out there doing stuff, guys. We just don't always go public. So if we get kind of quiet for a while, it's probably because we're busy and we just didn't get the live going, whether, it was internet signal, camera problems. We always have some type of problem when we get there, equipment malfunctions. And that's just the nature of the game when you go to locations to do paranormal investigations. You get places that mess with your equipment and nothing goes right. I mean, your equipment will go dead, batteries will go dead, internet won't work. I mean, we're lucky to get a live feed going half the time. So, I'm lucky to get a live feed going here at my house sometimes because I'm out in the middle of nowhere. But
Yeah.
uh, that's why everybody's always clearer than I am. My guests and hosts always look like they got nice cameras and clear, and you can barely see me. But it's because of bad internet signal. But going on from there, that same night we investigated those locations. We also investigated another old bridge in the Coles County area. And we've investigated it several times before, but we're not really going to give out the location of this. But what was cool was we found another cemetery like near this bridge that we did not know was there. I was looking at the old topo maps, and we found a cemetery like out, kind of in a secluded area by the bridge. And this bridge has always claimed to have activity, claims of paranormal activity at this bridge in Coles County. And it's not airtight. This is a different bridge in Coles County. But we didn't know why. We didn't know why it was having activity. But literally, this cemetery is like less than a quarter of a mile from the bridge. So I'm wondering if it isn't associated, with the cemetery, some of the activity that's taking place on the bridge. But found that was pretty cool, exploring that night. And that was one night of investigating. We've done several investigations, since then. We also checked out recently. Well, we went all. Well, that's not yet. I'll get to that here in a minute. There's a funny story involving Courtney. Imagine that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
There's always a funny story with Courtney.
I know. She's always following or doing something dumb, it seems like. Kicking my equipment off. Were you there the night she kicked my equipment case off into airtight bridge into the river?
No.
I don't think you were. I think that was Dale Kazmarek and his team with me that night, but I'm sure the people out there have heard this story before. But yeah, she kicked my equipment case off into the Amberall River. I think it's the Amberall, off airtight bridge there. And I had to go swimming. Kicked my case off, all my EMF meters in there. Like thousands of dollars worth of equipment in this case, and she kicks it off into the river, guys. It's floating down the river, so I have to take my clothes off and jump into the river and swim after my case. So, like, I'm swimming down this river and, like, get my case out of the water, because there's no way I was letting that thing go down the river. And finally recovered my case, got back up on land. Dickerson was with us that night, and Dickerson was, like, helping me get ashore there. And we go up. We go up the bank there by airtight, and there's this cable stretched across the road, and Dickerson just hits this cable and just face plants. Comes up blood all over him, bloodies his face, his lips, arms. God. So, I'm wet and muddy, and Dickerson's bloody. We get back to, like, where everybody else is at in Dale. And, you've had a good night ghost hunt, and, like, you're muddy and blood running everywhere. Yeah, that was a good one. She kicked the case off right into the river. But we've had all kinds of stuff happen. But going on with our investigations, we investigated Mason, Illinois. Now, one of my team members, Jareth, he swears he had weird stuff happen in Mason, Illinois. So he's been telling me for like about a year and a half, you need to go to Mason. You need to go to Mason. There's weird stuff going on there. Yeah, and he claims when he was there was this big fog around the Mason Cemetery. Like, it was only around the cemetery, and he was seeing weird stuff. So, I finally, broke down. We were bored one night, and we went over to Mason to check it out. And pretty neat little area. And it's actually, well, you went to that Edgewood investigation, didn't you?
No, I didn't get to go to that one.
Yeah, you didn't go. Oh, crap. I forgot. I didn't know you didn't go to that. But yeah, I remember you haven't been anywhere.
My job just ruins our chances of going out together. I can't ever go out.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. You'll get out one of these days.
Yeah. I went out by myself and went to a couple little cemeteries last night, just walking around and just looking at stuff, and just kind of, just getting a feel of the places and whatnot.
Oh, I went out last night. Heck, you should have called me.
I asked in the group if anybody wanted to go out. No.
I must have missed that. I don't know.
You never replied back to me anyways.
Did you find anything last night?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, my night was better. I have to tell you about it. So I'm gonna get to that though. Um, but yeah, when we were over at Mason, like I don't know, we didn't find anything really in the cemetery, the Mason Cemetery where we investigated. But that's weird. Every place I go, it's like if somebody tells me about a location, I'll look around or ask locals, or I'll look around on my topo maps. I've got old topo maps and apps, that show hidden cemeteries that aren't normally, available on your normal Google searches, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, I got bored and we started looking around to find some other places. And man, did we find a freaking awesome cemetery. It was in the woods, like by Mason, and like just out there on the outskirts, in the woods. I bet there's probably 100 to 200 stones in a wooded area that just like all grown up. It's a woods, like a wooded cemetery. And
They don't
I don't know
maintain it at
what's
all.
that.
They don't maintain it at all.
Not maintained at all. I don't know. It was one of the weirdest things I've seen in a long time. I mean, I've been to a lot of backwoods cemeteries, but this is kind of on the outskirts of Mason, and it's just a wooded cemetery, like just not maintained, just stones broken, trees coming up through the. It's kind of sad. Trees coming up through the stones, vines everywhere, briar bushes. It's like just highly not maintained, and it's big. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest unmaintained cemeteries I've ever found. I mean, where it's just completely pretty much abandoned and getting destroyed, by the woods. The trees are falling on stones. But I mean, it had the creepiest feeling. We heard some strange things in there. I thought I seen something. I thought I seen like a shadow figure at one point, like go through the woods in that area. I actually thought I seen something cross the road because there's a gravel road that kind of connects to the woods where the cemetery's at. I thought I seen like a black thing shoot across the road really quick, but it could have just been my eyes messing with me. But we are definitely going back there for more of a full scale investigation. And show you guys this location because it's extremely, extremely neat. I mean, it's not neat that it's abandoned, but it's just a cool location. And I don't really know why it's abandoned. I don't know if it was the old Mason Cemetery. Maybe some people out there watching, if you're from the Mason or Edgewood area, maybe you know something about that. Trying to read comments. But yeah, we have no idea what the name of the cemetery is or not. There's no signs. There's nothing telling us what the cemetery, name is or anything. It's not listed on the maps, as having any type of name. So it's pretty cool. We're definitely going to check it out, and you need to go with us, Ben, because it's pretty freaky, really.
It's just weird they don't maintain it at all, and even like that little cemetery that's over by your house, doesn't even have a road that goes to it. Just grass, set aside acreage or whatever, and a trail through the woods.
Yeah, I love Tammy Jo's talking about the same cemetery, but she says they moved most of them to a cemetery down the road. I was there last year and documented every grave I could find, so maybe she knows what I'm talking about. So you're talking about the one by Mason, Tammy Jo? Is that what you're talking about? So the bodies have been removed and the stones are still there? Because it didn't look like it to me. I mean, I didn't see any didn't look like there was any signs of dirt disturbance or anything where they had dug them up. If they have, it's been years ago before the woods took over. I'll let her answer that maybe, but probably lagging a little. But yeah, you'll have to check that out with us, Ben. But yeah, we went to Mason. We investigated those locations. And then we returned over to the Hill. I didn't know where you were at that night. I think you were working, but we went to Redford Cemetery, aka
my area.
Yeah, over in Ben's area. No, I can't, tell you guys the name of this cemetery on Facebook because it's not politically correct. but we're just going to call it the Hill for right now. But it's in Jasper County, and it's Redford Cemetery. We done a return investigation to it here recently. Tammy Jo is talking about the abandoned cemetery by Mason, so that's crazy. She knew what I was talking about, so pretty neat. You don't know the name of it, do you, Tammy? Like, was it the old Mason Cemetery or something? but I'll let her respond to that. But yeah, we went back to the grave site. Now, behind the hill in Jasper County, there is a grave site that was destroyed about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. 3
It's
years
been
ago.
like 3-4 years ago. Yeah. Some idiots went back and broke this tombstone back there behind Redford Cemetery in Jasper County. And there was a lone burial back there. And his name on the tombstone, it says Jace Wheeler. But in the history books, it calls him James Wheeler. So I don't know if JAS on the stone is short for James or what. The Mr. Wheeler, anyway, is buried behind Redford Cemetery about a quarter of a mile back behind the cemetery in the woods. And not many people knew about the location, but yeah, 3 to 4 years ago, close to Halloween, some idiots went back there and broke the stone. I alerted the local sheriff's department about it because I even had a couple names and possibilities of people who done it because they were bragging about it. And the sheriff's department did nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. Just like we see most of the time at these locations on with ghosts. But yeah, Jasper County Sheriff's Department did nothing about this. I reported, who the guy was that done it and everything, and they wouldn't do anything about it. Because the guy was bragging that, I broke it and the ghosts were after me and that stuff, which is completely ridiculous. We do not condone or endorse anything like that. It's like if I catch somebody breaking a stone, I've talked about this on there before, they're going to have problems before law enforcement gets there. So then I'll probably get arrested. But you'll all be bailing me out of jail. But but anyway, they wouldn't do anything about it. This guy broke a stone, tore it up. And but anyway, we went back behind Redford Cemetery. Me and Dickerson had went back there since the stone was broke, found all the pieces and put it back, as much of it as we could, back together. Only half the stone's there. And I was told by some of these people that they took half of the stone from the cemetery, is why we couldn't find the other pieces to put them back together. But me and Dickerson pieced most of it back together, and it's still, we went back to check on it, it's still somewhat pieced together like we had it. So I'm glad that it's still, somewhat pieced together, the broken pieces, and it's in the location of where he's actually buried, because that's history that is now going to be lost because some, idiots want to get a cheap thrill and go back there and break a tombstone. That's a part of local history. So, I
thought I heard where where that kid had thrown the other half in the river, maybe at one point.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah. And, but yeah, it's just ridiculous, the things people do to cemeteries and tombstones. The dead can't defend themselves. Well, they can, and I wish they would. But yeah. They normally don't, and, you can't break stuff like that. It's just wrong. And I don't know, it just makes me mad talking about it. But we went back there, checked on that, GPS the location again, just to have records of it and everything, and photographed it. Allison said, I think I know what cemetery you're talking about, but I could be wrong. But yeah, we did go to Redford, checked on that. We investigated Redford Cemetery, sat out there for a while, didn't really hear or see anything too major at Redford. And then we went to Brockville, one of your favorite places.
You can always go to my favorite places whenever I can't go.
Yeah, I know it. So we went to Brockville, done a paranormal investigation there at Brockville. Again, didn't really have a whole lot of activity at Brockville when we did that investigation. And I just kind of catching you guys up out there if you're just tuning in on what we've been doing since our last live Toledo investigation. We've been doing a lot of outdoor, cemetery investigations. But it brings me up to the point, or basically last night. So we had a full moon, this weekend, full moon last night, Saturday night into Sunday night. So we decided to go to Pine Lawn Manor. I guess Ben was out. I should have called him. Don't know. But me and a couple of my friends went to Pine Lawn Manor last night. And I just want to update you guys. It has been completely dead since our public event on, what was that? December the 26th, I think it was, of 2020. The most active time periods of Pine Lawn Manor have been from September to pretty much that Christmas event on December 26th, 2020, where it threw a golf ball. I was sick that night. I don't know if I COVID or what the heck I had, but I didn't make it to that last public event, which kind of makes me mad because I missed the golf ball and I kept asking them for that golf ball, and then it threw it when I wasn't there, obviously. And I think they do that just to make me mad. But anyway, they get a golf ball at this public event, at Christmas. And that's the last thing pretty much that took place at Pine Lawn. We've investigated that thing. I don't know. We've been there probably 15 times since then or more, and nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. It was like it died. But I just want to inform everybody that it came back to life last night. We didn't get any marbles or pennies, but holy crap, did we get noises? We got knocks, bangs, doors shutting, metal getting banged on, something sliding down the hallway. It was me and two other girls there. It was me and Caitlin and Sammy. She went with us last night to investigate it, and they had never been there before, so I took them there. I thought, it's full moon. We'll see what happens. I thought about going live just because of all the stuff that was happening, but it was getting pretty late. They didn't want to wake everybody up, but lots of bangs. I mean, before it was just quiet, since our Christmas event. And I think it's waking up again, guys. So I'm kind of excited. Like, definitely, the door slammers are still there. The people banging on stuff. And we heard noises in there last night I've never heard before. I mean, like metal, like sound like bang, bang, like banging on metal. It sounded like something slid something down the hallway toward us, freaked the girls out. Like, I didn't think they were wanting to go back ever again, but they say now they want to go back. But just like noises. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, we found some papers. Now, this is weird. Every time I go to Pine Lawn, stuff moves around in there by itself when we're not there. And somebody has either got in there, because we got the place padlocked up. Somebody's either broke in, or they're breaking in, or the ghosts are moving stuff. I don't know which, but I've got the cameras set back up in there now, so trail cams everywhere. So we're going to find out if they're, who it is and what's going on. But as we were there at Pine Lawn, a pickup truck also pulled up out front, seen us and peeled out, took off. So somebody was going to try to get in last night too. But when I got up there, my padlock was off the door, but it was still hooked to the chain. Like, the padlock was undone from the door, dangling from the door, the chain was, with the padlock there. So the padlock was still hooked and secured to the chain and had not opened. Now, you tell me that one. How does that happen? So
somebody's really good at picking a lock, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Nobody knows the combo to that thing except for
my combination lock.
Yeah, it's a combination lock.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And the combination lock was still hooked to the chain, locked, but the chain was off of the door, hanging there. So it wasn't locked. It was like the chain had somehow come off of the door with the padlock still secured. So that's a mystery all of its own right there. So, but it was almost like inviting us in last night, because the door was just unlocked when we went up there, so I didn't even have to take the padlock off. But we go in, upon entry, we start hearing bangs. Like, I thought somebody was actually in there, but I start hearing bangs, all over the building, like boom, boom. And I went room to room checking stuff, thinking, somebody was in there. Nobody, we found no living people in Pine Lawn as usual. Just stuff slamming, all kinds of noises. At one point, like I say, it sounded like light switches almost being flipped, like in different rooms, like when you hear that snap of a light switch, like it sounded like that. We've seen like almost like pin lights going through there, like green and red lights in different places, like just a lot of weird stuff going on in there last night. But I think it's coming back to life, especially with the door slams and everything. So Karen says she'd love to go back. Tammy says, please go live from Pine Lawn. We should have went live last night. And another cool thing, I've actually been contacted by another family member of an individual that was associated with Pine Lawn, and I'm not going to announce who that is or what it is, but it's pretty cool. And if he agrees to go live, I'm going to take him to Pine Lawn, and we're going to see if we can get any communication with this individual because he's connected to one of the individuals that passed away there. So if we can do that and he'll go live, we'll go live and kind of put it on the air and show you guys what we do. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting event too. It's a really cool family member that's, that was strongly associated with the building. And we think, this guy's ghost and spirit still walks the building. So that's going to be an interesting live if we can get that to happen. And this guy will agree to go on live with it. If not, we'll have to do it personally and not tell you guys names or anything about what happened. But Karen says, did Dickerson supply the padlock? I think he did. Karen. Deidre says, I lost my top fan status. Hey, we're gonna get you guys' top fan statuses going again because we're gonna start going live. So like I say, we're gonna try to do some live feeds from different locations. Another upcoming investigation I do want to talk about. What got you guys on here too? I think, and I don't know if you can go to this or not, Ben, but it's associated with Tammy Joe. We are going down to the Shawnee National Forest area on April the 10th, and we're going to do a paranormal investigation at an old church and cemetery down there. And it's one of our viewers out there and fan, Tammy Joe. It's her birthday, so she's going to be with us, I believe, on that investigation. We're going to try to go live if we have signal in the Shawnee National Forest area. So that will be April the 10th, guys, and we're definitely going live sometime during the day of April the 10th into April the 11th. We're going to be ghost hunting all day, all night, into that night. So it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
are you good? Okay. And we've still got Draper Cabin. We've still got Step Cemetery and Draper Cabin on our list over in Monroe County, Indiana over there. We're going to spend the night in that.
We still have a list of like 2 pages long of all the things that we've got to do from last year still. I
know. We are way behind. Yeah, that COVID really messed our house investigation list up because we got a list of houses we still have to investigate that we couldn't get to because of COVID related stuff. So,
and now there's more places that's wanting us to come in and investigate too. Like I mentioned, maybe possibly another Legion might be wanting us to come do an investigation.
Awesome. Have you checked on that or?
I haven't talked to that person since the other night, just this last weekend, but they were talking about trying to get approval maybe with getting us in there to check it out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be a good one. And we still got that location in Robinson, which I think I can talk about that. We've also got the Main Street Pub scheduled. Well, not scheduled, but we've got it on our list to investigate. So as soon as we can get time to hit that location, we're going to do that. So look forward to that in the near future as a live paranormal investigation too from the Main Street Pub in Robinson, Illinois. They've asked us to come in and investigate it. I talked with him he was actually on one of our tours last Halloween and was asking for us to come in. I know Ben spoke with him also, I think, before, or spoke with the pub. And so, yeah, we've got a long list of places to do, guys.
Yeah, I've been in there a couple times talking to him.
Yeah. Yeah, that ought to be a good one.
Yeah, I wish I could get to the pub in Newton. That'd be a good one to investigate.
Oh, that would be a good place because that place has got some potential, I'll tell you what. The Newton pub you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A couple of those buildings right through there claim to have activity anyway. The Old Mill Bridge, people have reported paranormal activity on it in Newton. And the old restaurant that used to be there, the Old Mill Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you that story?
I don't think so.
We were scheduled to investigate that place, the Old Mill Restaurant. I think that's what it was called, the Old Mill.
Yeah, it's just what they called the Old Mill.
Yeah. We were scheduled to investigate it there in Newton. This was years ago when it was still there. And about probably a week before we were to go in there to investigate, the place burnt to the ground. And that was pretty weird. And that's that's happened a couple times, which is pretty strange. We were scheduled to investigate an old house in southern Illinois, and it was an old abandoned house. The property owner had asked us to investigate it, and about a week before we went in to investigate, the place burnt to the ground. So it's like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. It's happened to us like several times when we, have been asked to investigate a location. It makes you wonder, like, I wonder about some of these locations, that we do investigate like that. It's almost like the locations are alive or like, like Pine Lawn, for instance, or something. It's almost like it has a mind of its own. I know there's ghosts and spirits in there, but it's almost like the locations know we're coming sometimes. Yeah, maybe the ghosts or spirits know we're coming. I mean, and they either get more active or they're just completely quiet while we're there and we get nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's one or the other. It either explodes with activity or they're just quiet and we don't get anything. It makes you wonder, is the spirit world, in tune with what we're doing, and do they know ahead of time that we're on our way? Do they hear the residents talking, saying, "Hey, we're calling in the paranormal investigators, and they're going to come, investigate our location." I think the ghosts and spirits are always, listening in some of these places. And I think Pine Lawn has shown us that, they listen to what we say, they listen to our conversations, and I don't see why it'd be any different at other locations, So it's almost like the ghosts and spirits have a heads up. We're coming into some of these places and perform accordingly. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, like even on nights whenever it's really dead, quiet there in Pine Lawn, it's like they're there. You can, it's like you can just feel, like it's a crowded. I don't know, it seems like for me when you're in Pine Lawn, it just feels like it's like you're like in a crowded room all the time, everywhere
Right.
you go, and it's like you can just feel it in there, but there's just nothing happening.
Yeah,
it's
it just feels like they're all around you.
Yeah. Well, it's typical for a place like that, though.
Yeah, they probably are. Oh, another weird thing in Pine Lawn, a lot of stuff's getting broken. Like, again, I don't know, people sneaking in there. Like I said, I've got the cameras set up now. We're going to figure out who's coming in and out again. I've taken them out for a while, but I got them back in there. So we're going to see what's going on. But the wind chime got ripped down from the ceiling. Like, the wind chime is like broken and ripped down from the ceiling. And like, also some of the center doors were closed when I went in one night. The building was completely locked that night when I went in, and there was snow on the ground. So like, there was no tracks going up there. There were no footprints going up to any of the doors. I checked, no one had been in the building previous or since the snowfall anyway, the night that I checked it. And I go in, and all those center doors in the hallways of Pine Lawn Manor are closed, and we always leave those open. So like, somehow they all got closed. The wind chime was ripped down. There's places on the ceiling that's been ripped down that just doesn't make sense for normal, like decay and the ceiling falling down. It looks like somebody's actually ripped pieces off of it. Like, really weird. Stuff moves around. There's stuff moved around in there. There's a baseball bat now. You never know where that thing's going to be. There was a wooden baseball bat last night. The last time I was in there, I left it in another room, and then it ended up in Group 3 hallway. I don't know. It's pretty weird.
Hallway.
The one where we get marbled all the time, the far hallway.
Okay. I thought I saw it down there where where our like little group room is, where we had the little pizza party and the heater and stuff set up in there.
Right. Yeah.
I thought I saw it in that main hallway.
It was at one time. It keeps moving. But I don't know how it moves. It's like those crutches at the Spook House in Robinson. Like, there was a set of crutches. We investigated the house there on Jefferson Street in Robinson. We called the Spook House. It was the old Langley house. And there was a set of crutches in there, and those things would move all the time. Like, one time they formed an X on the staircase as we were going down to the basement, and the house was locked. And I'm the only one that had a key, and Lackameyer at the only time, he had a key because he owned it, but he was on vacation. I know he didn't do it. These crutches would move around that house as I would go back to do haunted tours or something. They would be in a different location. So, I mean, things move. It's weird.
Now, didn't you tell me that house didn't have any power ran to it?
The spook house in Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no power going to that house. There was
Okay.
no power. Yeah, there wasn't even anything going to there was nothing going up to the upstairs area, nothing running to the upstairs, and people would see the upstairs lights on, and there was nothing going up there. So because he was in the process of turning it into apartments at one time, and he was redoing the bottom part, and the top, trying to separate it because there was a staircase outside. You had to go outside to get to the upper part because they blocked it off from the inside. So it was kind of separated into two sections. And the upstairs didn't have any power going to it at all. And the neighbors would report lights on up there. All people would see lights on up there, and there's no power going to the upstairs. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff took place there. I wish that place was still there, but it got tore down.
Yeah, I remember one time whenever I drove by there, I hadn't joined up with the group. I hadn't even actually met you technically yet, but that picture that you had taken in front of the spook house was floating around and making its way around the internet, I think, and just people sharing it and stuff on their phones and stuff and whatnot. And I went by there and checked that place out, parked out on the street there, and was kind of walking around just looking at it. And there was a light on upstairs on the back room.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember later on, whenever I had told you, whenever I first kind of got associated with you a little bit there, and I was like, yeah, I stopped by that house and was looking at it, one night, and there was a light on upstairs, and they're like, well, there wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, there's no power to the house or anything anymore, so there shouldn't be a light on up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. A lot of people seen that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never got to go inside of it because I never got to go on one of the tours to get in there. Hadn't joined the group yet, but
yeah, that was a long time ago. We done that. Looks like Greg Cost is watching. Hey, Greg, good to see you on here too. And Karen, yeah, she says that people are being destructive at Pine Lawn. I think so too. I think people are getting in somehow. We need to secure it a little better. Keep an eye on it. So, but trying to go back through some of the comments. Tammy Jo says, no, I've been to the one at Wolf Creek too. Hope the church is still standing when we get there, Tammy Jo says. Yeah, that would suck. Get there and the church is gone. But yeah, the April the 10th, guys, we're going to do a Shawnee National Forest trip, like I say. And if the two places don't check out, that Tammy's got, we've got a lot of other locations we're going to check out down there. We're probably going to be going live several different times in the Shawnee National Forest area on April the 10th into the 11th. So it's going to be a good time. But we're going to try to do some live feeds definitely before now and then for sure, and get everybody back on to watching here because it's been a while since we've done a good live. So.
Yeah, and we really need to get caught back up on some of these investigations we've already got set up to do. I mean, as far as the home investigations and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I've got several. We've got several like residential investigations that we've got to do probably within the next couple of weeks because like these people are like needing help. A lot of people are seeing strange things. People get scared. They want to move out of their home. It freaks them out. They don't want to live there anymore. So it's like
not that bad.
Yeah, I know. I live in a haunted house.
I've heard footsteps across the ceiling, upstairs bedroom since we've been on the live, tonight.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just nothing new anymore. It's just kind
of. Yeah, I know. When you get like marbled and quarters thrown at you in the dark, I mean, nothing pretty much moves you.
I don't get anything thrown at me yet.
Yeah. Tiffany says, Eric Erickson, I believe.
Eric
They were
Erickson.
talking about investigating your pub. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, Eric. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about the pub and doing a paranormal investigation there soon. So maybe we can set that up. I think he's on here watching. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll definitely get the pub set up if I get a hold of them. And maybe that'll be sometime, within the next couple weeks too. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have for tonight, guys. Just wanted to kind of update all of you. Well, Eric's on here talking now, but he says he just got home and didn't see it. But yeah, we were talking about the pub, Eric, maybe doing a paranormal investigation there here in the near future. We talked to you during one of our haunted tours, I believe it was. So, definitely get with me about that, and we'll set something up. So, and I don't know what Ben's doing over there, but his camera just went. Someone's smoke alarm is chirping. Your smoke alarm chirping?
I don't think I have one.
Oh, the funny Courtney story. I'm glad Kelsey reminded me. Dang, Kelsey, thank you. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I
forgot the funny Courtney story tonight before I get off here.
Another one.
Eric said definitely will. It's not really funny. It was kind of like, I don't know about her. She, you guys
probably grounded from investigations.
Do what?
You're just gonna have to ground her from going to the investigations.
I know, something always happens. She either falls in the woods, trips, like
falls asleep, or falls asleep.
Yeah, she falls asleep, kicks my stuff into the river, trips over nothing, falls down in the woods. But no, one time, this is another funny Courtney story. But we were over at Hatchet Man. There's this big hill. This isn't what I was going to tell you guys, but she trips down the hill. This is when she had glasses. She trips down the hill, comes up, and like she has sticks stuck through her glasses. And like when she stood up out of the woods, like she had like two branches up like that, and she looked like a deer with antlers like coming up out of her glasses. And she was like crying, and like I couldn't help but laugh. I mean, she's got like two sticks like sticking out of her glasses. Like it really did look like deer antlers. Like
it'd been make her mad.
Huh?
That all he did was just going to make her mad.
I know. If it had been hunting season, she'd been shot by somebody because she looked like a buck. I mean, like banging around the trees and stuff with these branches sticking out. But anyway, so at our last investigation over at the hill at Redford Cemetery, everybody knows out there probably by now, we carry concealed firearms. I'm a concealed, carry instructor for the state of Illinois. I carry when we're out, she carries when we're out. Most of us have concealed carry, permits, and we carry firearms because we're in the middle of nowhere all the time. We encounter weird people, meth heads, you name it. But yeah, we carry. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have seen that maybe on some of our live feeds because we've even been shot at. But she's in Redford Cemetery and she's got her gun on. She's sitting in the chair, she's sitting in like a lawn chair type thing. Well, she didn't know it. We didn't know it at the time, but her gun fell out. We get home after our investigation, and like she gets back to the house, and she's missing her gun out of her holster. Like we just been out all night. I mean, we get home at like probably 4:15 a.m. in the morning. Get home, we're tired, and her gun's gone out of her holster. And we have covered a lot of ground. I mean, that was the same night we walked back through the woods to check out the grave behind Redford Cemetery. We were at Brockville Cemetery, and we were all over the place, all over Jasper County, and her gun's missing. So we have to backtrack and go gun hunting after like just being out all night ghost hunt at 4:15. So we get back in the vehicle, head back to Jasper County, and backtrack all through all these cemeteries. We started out at Brockville, searched the whole cemetery because we didn't know where it was at that point. Kelsey and Jake Greentree, they were with us. They checked their vehicle. They didn't have it. And, so we're walking all through the cemetery trying to find it. Not at Brockville. It's not there. So we have to go clear back to Redford Cemetery, which is quite a ways, on down the road up 130. And my worst nightmare was it was in the woods behind Redford Cemetery. Because if it was in the woods, I mean, we zigzagged all through that woods because we couldn't find the grave at first, because I didn't have my GPS with me, and it's hard to find that grave back there. So that was going to be a complete nightmare if she lost that gun in the woods, behind the cemetery. Luckily, we go up into the cemetery where we were sitting, and I found it in like 2 minutes right there near the chair where we had our chairs sitting in the cemetery. So, yeah, we found it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you guys because there'd be a gun out there. We don't want anybody to pick it up. But, we ended up finding it in Redford Cemetery, right where we were sitting. And hopefully she keeps that thing on a leash now. But, there's always something. So we ended up back home at like, I don't even know what time. Sun was up, and it was like probably 6:30 a.m. or 7 before we got back home from a ghost hunt. So that happens a lot, but we didn't plan on going back and backtracking through all the cemeteries. But yeah, she got lucky. She found it, but it's always something.
It's like whenever you forgot your case that one night when we was down there, what was it, south of Robinson, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I left my whole. Oh, yeah, I've done some stupid stuff too, guys. I left my case with all my equipment again at a cemetery south of Robinson, wasn't it?
I think that's where we were at. I don't know. It was dark. I don't remember how we even got there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I left it there, and like we had to backtrack and go down there and find my equipment case in the cemetery. That's happened a few times, actually. I left a mag light on a tombstone one time too. It was up in Coles County, and like I'm real sentimental about my flashlights. I'm really weird, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's like I don't know. They've been through hell with me, so they're sentimental. But I left a little flashlight. I lost it out of my pocket at Hell's Gate up by Brazil, Indiana, and I've had that thing through all kinds of investigations. So like, I've got to go find those flashlights. So I went clear back to Hell's Gate, the next day, went back and found my flashlight. I lost that in my pocket over there by Brazil, Indiana, and turned it on. It still worked and everything. So, but I've left a mag light on a tombstone up in Coles County. And this was really weird. I mean, this was a remote cemetery in the middle of nowhere. I remembered where I left it. I knew that, they're all laughing about keeping that on a leash. I knew where I left this mag light on the tombstone. Go back up to Coles County the next day. And this is in the middle of a cornfield, like a cemetery in the middle of a remote area in the middle of a cornfield. Yeah. Go back, and that mag light is not there. And I clearly remember laying it on that tombstone. I know that's where I lost it. So I lost that mag light. I don't know what happened to it. When I went back, it was gone. So I don't know if a caretaker came along just by chance, like, early that morning. I was there the night before and he found it and took it. But we've lost a few things out ghost hunting before. So if you guys ever find any weird stuff in cemeteries, get a hold of us. It's probably ours. But,
I've lost a few flashlights too.
Yeah. Before I go, this is a weird story. I got a lot of weird stories. But back in the day when we were doing haunted tours, I lost a camera case for a 35 millimeter camera on one of our haunted tours. We had not been to Bel Air Cemetery yet, and I had lost it in Harmony Cemetery. This is on one of our Crawford County haunted tours. And when we left Harmony Cemetery, I knew that I'd lost it. I thought I'd lost it in Harmony Cemetery. We get to Bel Air, which was one of our last stops on our route, Bel Air Cemetery. My camera case was hanging from the gates of Bel Air Cemetery, hanging on the gate, and we had not been there yet. Now, that was one of the strange paranormal things where I think something teleported from one cemetery to another. That's a whole show of its own, talking about objects and objects that teleport, like we've talked about this pine lawn stuff, the marbles coming from nowhere, the coins coming from nowhere. I cannot explain that to this day.
I like the chicken pot pie story.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that even happened.
I don't understand that one either. That was that we tell on one of our haunted tours too, guys, and what Ben's talking about. If you've ever been on one of our Crawford County haunted tours, Harmony Cemetery is one of the locations we go to. And the very first time I investigated Harmony Cemetery, I went out there, and this was like 3:00 in the morning. I walk out there, and there was this freshly cooked chicken pot pie on top of one of the tombstones, like steaming, like freshly, cooked, still hot, it's steaming at 3:00 in the morning. And I look down, I moved the pie over, and it is the first grave that was put in that cemetery. It was the first grave marker ever put in the cemetery, and it's it says that on the stone. I would have never known that or found that grave had it been for the chicken pot pie. I would have never noticed. It said that, and kind of weird how things happen like that. Just strange things that we see in cemeteries at night.
Teleported from somebody's microwave right to the gravestone.
Exactly. So I have no clue. But yeah, we got a lot of stories we tell in our haunted tours, but yeah, I can stay here all night and tell those, but try to read some of the comments here before we go. Allison Burke says, I cry every time I go. That seems to happen at my house all the time. Everything disappears. Maybe the chicken pot pie came from Tiffany's house. I don't know. She said she's missing stuff. So, who's in a cemetery with a fresh pot pie? Exactly, Jeremy. I have no idea. That's what I said. Why would somebody put a chicken pot pie in a cemetery? But yeah, just weird stuff like that. Yes, it was a woman's grave, Tammy. It is a woman's grave. So that, yeah, it is kind of weird that it's on a woman's grave. Never really thought of that. So.
What, the chicken pot pie?
Yeah, the chicken pot pie. It was on a woman's grave. So it's kind of interesting. But what did you find in Toledo? I assume they're talking about the American Legion. Carrie's asking. We did find a little bit of evidence of the Legion being haunted. Kind of talked about at the beginning of the show, Carrie, if you haven't tuned in. But we would like to do a follow-up investigation there at the Toledo American Legion, because we did hear some strange sounds that we cannot explain there. And I do believe it probably has a little activity probably associated with some of the former people who were associated with the building and have passed away, maybe multiple people. So we do want to return there. But yeah, I think that concludes probably for tonight. Just want to give you guys an update and let you know we're still alive and still out there doing stuff. We just haven't been going live as much, due to time schedules and when we get out to these places and internet signal. But if it's a weekend, we may just start going live. If we get out there at midnight, 1 a.m., we may go live anyway. If you guys are on here to watch, you can watch. But we'll keep you updated on our big investigations and definitely let you guys know times and dates of some of our big stuff. Definitely we'll announce out on the page of upcoming events. Kimberly Parker says, I've talked to Jason about a couple of houses in Robinson, the large historic brick beauty one block south of Hardee's. Family owned it, and we experienced many happenings. A family member's legs were lifted while in bed. To mention just one, our old Girl Scout house is now, but as a child was scary. Block north of Spotlight video on the right. Hey, Kimberly, yeah, maybe personal messages that information, and we'll try to get into a couple of those places. I know where you're talking about. Just if you got contact information and all that for us, definitely send it to our Facebook page by personal message, and we'll try to investigate that. So, but yeah, thank you guys out there for watching tonight. Thanks, Greg. Greg's still on here. Greg Koss, Laura, Cleora, Kimberly, Tiffany, all you guys, Karen. Got a lot of people watching tonight. So thank you, everybody. I know we don't mention all of you a lot, but we appreciate everyone that watches our show and our live investigations. So definitely keep watching the page, and we'll keep you guys updated. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, Ben, for co-hosting.
Yep, no problem.
All right. I'll see you later.
See ya.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone.